In the quiet stillness of nature, there is a profound truth we often overlook: nothing blooms all year. Every flower, every tree, every blade of grass follows a rhythm. They grow, they thrive, and then they rest. Nature knows the importance of pause, the beauty of stillness, and the necessity of waiting for the right moment to bloom again. This simple, natural cycle is something that we, as human beings, tend to forget. We live in a world that values constant action, endless productivity, and continuous progress. Yet, in our pursuit of success and growth, we often forget that we too need time to rest, reflect, and recharge. Patience is not just a virtue, it is an essential part of our emotional, mental, and even physical well-being. The idea that we should always be striving for something bigger, better, and faster can lead to burnout, anxiety, and feelings of inadequacy. The pressure to keep moving forward without acknowledging the need for rest can cause us to overlook the importance of self-care, the value of the slow moments, and the necessity of embracing the times when we are not growing at a fast pace. When we think about growth, we often imagine it as something that happens quickly. We see the flowers bloom and the trees stretch tall into the sky, but we rarely notice the long periods of time they spend in the ground, in the quiet and the dark, before they show signs of life. The process of growth is not always visible. It is often hidden, slow, and imperceptible. Yet, it is happening all the time. And the same goes for us. We are always growing, even when it feels like nothing is changing. The small steps, the quiet moments, and the times when we feel stagnant are all part of the journey. Just as the flower does not bloom every day, we cannot be at our best every moment. Life is not about rushing to the next achievement or milestone. It is about understanding the ebb and flow of our energy, our emotions, and our ambitions. There are times when we will flourish, and there are times when we will need to retreat and focus on nurturing ourselves. But even in those quiet times, we are still moving forward. Like the tree in winter, we may appear dormant, but beneath the surface, we are preparing for the next season. When we compare ourselves to others, we often forget that everyone has their own pace. Some may seem to bloom faster, achieve more, or move ahead, but we cannot forget that the path they are on is uniquely theirs. Their journey is not the same as ours. The beauty of life lies in our individuality, our timing, and our personal growth. There is no universal timeline for success. What matters most is that we are patient with ourselves, understanding that our growth is unfolding in its own time, at its own pace. We live in an era where the pressure to be perfect and to be constantly progressing is ever present. Social media is a constant reminder of what others are achieving, of the milestones others are hitting. But this only sets up unrealistic expectations for ourselves. We look at others and wonder why we aren't moving at the same speed. We forget that what we see on the outside is only a fraction of the story. What we don't see are the struggles, the setbacks, the failures, and the quiet moments of doubt that everyone experiences in their own time. We are often too hard on ourselves, too quick to judge our progress, and too impatient with our own growth. Self-compassion is an essential element in the process of growth. It is about understanding that it is okay to take a break, to rest, and to not be perfect all the time. It is okay to have moments where we are not moving forward at the speed we expect. Growth is not always linear, and sometimes it takes time to find the right path or to bounce back from a setback. Being kind to ourselves during these times is what helps us build resilience and continue on our journey. We must learn to embrace the slower seasons of our lives, the times when we are in between phases, waiting for something new to emerge. These moments are not wasted. They are essential for our personal development. Just as the seasons change, so too do we. There are moments in our lives where we will experience the fullness of life, the blooming and the thriving. But there will also be times when we feel like we are in the fall or winter, when things are quieter and less productive. These periods are necessary for us to gather strength, to reflect, and to prepare for the next phase of growth. Growth is not just about what we achieve externally, but about the internal work we do as well. It is about learning to be patient with ourselves, to give ourselves the grace to take a step back and reassess when needed. It is about understanding that setbacks and challenges are not signs of failure but part of the natural cycle of growth. When we face obstacles, we must remind ourselves that these are not permanent states. They are simply part of the process, and just like the seasons, they will pass. In the same way that nature goes through cycles, so do we. There are times when we will experience the full bloom of success, the fruits of our labor, and the joy of accomplishment. But there are also times when we will need to rest, reflect, and regroup. During these times, it is important to remember that nothing in nature blooms all year. Even the most beautiful flowers have their time to rest before they bloom again. And in the same way, we too need to be patient with ourselves, knowing that our time will come, and we will bloom in our own season. The key to embracing this idea is trust. Trusting in the process of life, trusting in our own abilities, and trusting that everything unfolds at the right time. We must trust that even when we don't see the immediate results of our efforts, something is happening beneath the surface. Growth is happening even when it's not visible. Just as a seed is slowly growing into a plant before it ever emerges from the soil, we are growing in ways that may not be immediately obvious. The beauty of life lies in its unpredictability, its seasons, and its changes. We may not always understand why things are happening at a particular time or why certain things are taking longer than we hoped, but we must trust that there is purpose in every season. And just like in nature, our most significant blooms may come after periods of rest, quiet, and reflection. When we give ourselves permission to slow down, we create the space to truly listen to our inner selves, to understand what we need, and to regain the strength to continue our journey. It is in these quieter moments that we learn who we truly are, what we are capable of, and what we truly want from life. These moments of rest and reflection are not wasted time. They are just as important as the moments of action, for they allow us to grow from within. So, as we move through life, let us remember the wisdom that nature teaches us: be patient with yourself. Embrace the stillness, trust the process, and understand that growth comes in seasons. We do not need to bloom all the time. It is okay to take a step back, to rest, and to be kind to ourselves during the times when things are not moving as quickly as we'd like. Trust that in time, your bloom will come, and when it does, it will be more beautiful than you ever imagined. Life is a journey, and while we may not always be in a season of outward progress, we are always progressing inwardly. Each quiet moment, each pause, each time we rest is part of the larger process of growth. Let us be patient with ourselves, trust in our path, and know that, just like in nature, everything happens when the time is right. Keep believing in your journey, for you are always blooming, even when you can't see it yet.